In this video, we are going to learn about gabbroic rocks and their classification. Now, before we start, just a small information for you guys. We are starting a numerical series for JAM aspirants, so don't miss out the opportunity. Just click the link down below and get connected to us. Now, before going to the concept of gabbroic rock and their classification, we must understand the fact that why should we actually study the gabbroic rocks and their classification? And to answer that question, let's observe the diagram carefully. This is called QAPF diagram. It is used for the nomenclature of igneous rocks, where Q stands for quartz, A stands for alkali feldspar, P stands for plagioclase feldspar, and F stands for feldspar third group of minerals. Depending upon the relative abundance of these minerals, a rock is given its name. Okay. Now, if we look at the diagram, everything looks so clean and neat, except that box near P. These rocks are called gabbroic rocks. They are mainly plutonic. The rocks included in this group are diorite, gabbro, anorthosite, norite, troctolite, etc. So if a rock has a composition which falls near to that box in P, so what will be its name? That's pretty confusing, right? Don't worry, we will solve that for you. In order to distinguish these rocks one from the other, we must find the differences in their properties, their chemical composition, etc., so that we can differentiate them. Before going into the exact differences between them, let's just talk about the basic composition of these rocks. Gabbro contains mainly plagioclase, clinopyroxene, and some amount of olivine. Norite contains plagioclase, orthopyroxene, and some amount of olivine, whereas anorthosite composed of 95% to 100% plagioclase. So it is called a monomineralic rock. Finally, the composition of diorite is plagioclase plus hornblende, and which is a amphibole. So the next question is, how can we differentiate between gabbro and diorite? It's quite simple actually. The plagioclase in gabbro is more calcic than anorthite 50, whereas in diorite the plagioclase is less calcic than anorthite 50. Let me explain this a bit more for you. See, the plagioclase filter contains a solid solution series in which there are two end members. One is albite, which is sodium bearing, that is, it is completely sodic plagioclase, and the other member is anorthite, which is a completely calcic plagioclase, and the other members have composition in between them. As you can see from the diagram, as we move from albite to anorthite, the sodium percentage slowly decreases and the calcium percentage slowly increases. I think it's clear now. Moving on to the next difference. The next difference lies in their mafic mineral composition, that is, the type of mafic minerals present in them. Gabbro contains pyroxene, whereas diorite contains hornblende, biotite, etc. Next notable difference between diorite and gabbro is their color index. Index is the ratio of mafic minerals to felsic minerals present in a rock. It is very small for acidic igneous rocks and gradually increases to 100, which is for ultramafic rocks. Broadly speaking, felsic minerals have a low specific gravity, whereas mafic minerals have a comparatively higher specific gravity. Gabbro has a color index of greater than 40, whereas diorite has the color index which is less than 40. Now the question arises that why is it? And to answer that question, let's think what type of mafic minerals they have. In gabbro, they have pyroxene, whereas in diorite they have hornblende, biotite, etc. Now the next question is, why a rock with pyroxene will have more color index than a rock containing hornblende, biotite, etc. And the answer of this question lies in Bowen's reaction series. In Bhavin's reaction series, as we move from olivine to quartz, the minerals become more acidic, or you can say less basic. So now you can clearly say that pyroxene is more basic than hornblende, biotite, etc. And that's the reason why the rock containing pyroxene has color index of more than 40, whereas a rock containing a slightly less basic minerals like hornblende, biotite, etc. have color index less than 40. Okay, I think that's enough to differentiate between diorite and gabbro. Now before moving forward, let's just clear one thing. See, as we are saying that in gabbro pyroxene is present, whereas in diorite hornblende and biotite is present. In this case we are talking about the major mineral present in it. So it's possible that gabbro may contain some hornblende, biotite, and diorite may also contain some pyroxene, but they will be in very minimal amount. Now if you think deeply, one more question will arise in your mind, and that is, we are differentiating diorite and gabbro mainly on the basis of their mafic mineral composition, but how can we differentiate a pyroxene bearing diorite from hornblende bearing gabbro? Or let me put it this way, diorite contains hornblende and biotite and gabbro contains pyroxene, and on the basis of that we are differentiating gabbro and diorite. But if pyroxene will be present in diorite and hornblende will be present in gabbro, then how can we differentiate both of them? Now that's a good question. Just take your time and think. I will give this answer at the end of this video. Normally we use two diagrams to understand the classification of gabbroic rocks. Let's observe the diagram carefully. Here we have a triangular diagram with olivine, clinopyroxene and orthopyroxene as its three end members. And if you want to find the composition of norite, then you can see that if a rock contains a notable amount of plagioclase and orthopyroxene and a very small amount of clinopyroxene, then we call that norite. And similarly, a rock containing plagioclase and clinopyroxene but a very minimal amount of orthopyroxene considered as a gabbroic rock. See, it all depends upon temperature, pressure and the composition of magma from which the rock forms. Just imagine how an igneous rock could have been formed from a magma. First, magma is released from the magma chamber and it slowly moves towards the surface. And as it moves upward, its temperature gradually falls. Magma contains various minerals. As the temperature drops, minerals get crystallized in a sequence which is depicted in Bhavin's reaction series. Minerals with high melting point are crystallized first, so they are also called high temperature minerals, and minerals with comparatively lower melting point crystallize towards the end. This table shows the approximate temperature and the minerals which are molten. Imagine a situation where we have a temperature at which pyroxene is crystallized, and for any region that particular temperature and pressure prevailed for a notable amount of time. So what do you think? What will happen? Obviously only pyroxene will be crystallized, and the rocks which are formed in these situations will contain maximum pyroxene, and we call such a rock pyroxenite. Similarly, if a rock contains more than 95% plagioclase in it, then we call it anorthosite. Now please note that we call such type of rocks a monomineralic rocks, a rock which largely consists of a particular mineral. From this diagram, you can ask a question that if a rock contains less than 5% orthopyroxene, then it's called a gabbro, and if it contains less than 5% clinopyroxene, then it's a norite. But what is gabbronorite? Well, the answer is If in a rock both orthopyroxene and clinopyroxene are present along with plagioclase as important minerals, then we call it gabbronorite. Now if you have ever come across this diagram, then you must have noted that gabbronorite, all of them have a very small amount of olivine in them. So it's quite obvious that there will be a rock in which plagioclase and olivine will be in abundance, and it will contain a very less amount of pyroxene. Well, we have a rock like that for you. That's called toctolite. There is also a rock group which contains olivine and pyroxene and a very small amount of plagioclase, and these rocks are called ultramafic rocks. Moving on to the next point, there are some special names of gabbroic rocks with high calcic plagioclase, like eucrite, which contain orthopyroxene, clinopyroxene, olivine and plagioclase, that is biotinite. Next comes troctolite, which contains labradorite, which is a plagioclase, and olivine. And next comes alivalites, which contain anorthite, which is a purely calcic plagioclase, and olivine. Now the answer to the question that I have asked in the video, that is how to distinguish between pyroxene bearing diorite from hornblende bearing gabbro. Any guess? Okay, let me tell you the answer, and the answer is, apart from mafic minerals, we are also differentiating them on the basis of plagioclase composition. That is, gabbro contains more calcic minerals than anorthite 50 and diorite contains less calcic minerals than anorthite 50. So on the basis of that, we can differentiate between them. That's the end of it. Hope you have liked the video. If you have any queries, then please let us know in the comment box. And if you want us to make a video on any topic that you want, then please comment that below too. That's it for today. See you in my next video. Thank you for watching this.